Simplifying radical expressions, or how do you simplify a radical expression? A radical expression is an expression within a fraction n over d where the numerator or denominator is a polynomial. For example, 1 over x plus 1 or x plus 5 over 2. At times we may have to exclude values from the solution, and that's any value or values of x that make the denominator 0. For example, in 1 over x minus 1, 1 cannot be the answer because x minus 1 would give us 0 in the denominator. In this case, 1 is an excluded value. Let's look at some examples. In the first one, if k was a 5 or a negative 1, then we would wind up with a 0 in the denominator because 5 squared is 25 minus 4 times 5, which is 20, minus 5 would be 0. In the second example, either a negative or positive value of 5 would give us 25 minus 25 in the denominator, or 0. We could also write this that x is not equal to plus or minus 5. The third example gives us where we have a fraction times a fraction. I see that if negative 3 was an answer, I would have a 0 on the right fraction denominator, so it's an excluded value. That multiplying fractions made me think to look at dividing fractions, which is our fifth example. If I divide fractions, I do that by flipping the second fraction and then multiplying the two together. I see two values, a 0 and a 2, that would make zeros possible within those denominators. So both of those are excluded values. The last example shown is a fraction divided by a fraction in a different way. We are still going to flip the bottom fraction and multiply them so that we see that two fractions being multiplied. We still have two cases where x cannot be 0 on bottom. That occurs when x is 0, so it can't be 0, or when x is negative 1. So those are both excluded values. We have to be careful during problems like this because in its simplified form, that's 2 over x plus 1. That 2 over x plus 1 makes it look as if there is only one excluded value. We can't forget about 0. The true purpose of education is to cherish and unfold the seed of immortality already sown within us. Anna Jamison.